I thought it was would be interesting to have you guys come as a group, because right now I feel like it's you against Hendrick Motorsports, and you guys came in with a new car, new body, new everything, and with the short track stuff dominated, kind of got your legs underneath you at the 1.5 miles, and I feel like you guys are in a spot to do things that is expected out of Joe Gibbs Racing. So I guess my first question would be, and I'm just going to go right to it, is this a championship year? Because it feels like everybody's leading laps. You're on the verge of winning your first race. You've been battling for wins. You've won races, and you've been doing the exact same thing, leading laps and doing everything you guys need to do. So is this a Joe Gibbs Racing championship year?
Am I starting it off?
You are.
I mean, it seems like we've got the resources to do it for sure. And you know, since the introduction of the next gen car, we've had our strengths and our weaknesses. But that year in 2022, it was the short track stuff, the road course package wasn't good for our cars. And so we put in a lot of effort into trying to increase our performance on the road courses and the short track stuff, which was Phoenix. A big hole was Phoenix. And then this new car seems like it's bridged the gap a little bit. And that was my best race to date.
So you've been through a number of these years, racing for championships, won a championship. How does it feel? Does it feel different this year compared to other years? Because from the outside looking in, it feels different to me.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's hard to compare to like the championship year and stuff with the old car, right? Because whether we're better or not, the whole field's still way tighter than it was then, right? Yeah. So I feel similar in the fact that I feel like we're very well rounded. We can go anywhere and be fast. One of us is going to be fast everywhere we go, which we haven't really had that the last 2 years. Like Christopher mentioned, we've had struggles at road courses, struggles at short tracks one year. It just has been we haven't all felt like every single week we go to the racetrack we win. And I feel like this year, from the way things have felt, it's like one of us is going to have a chance.
Yeah.
So I feel similar in that respect, but the field is still way closer than it was in all those years we raced for championships, you know?
How is it having all the experience around you? I know a little bit about you. A lot of people don't know a little bit about you. I know your work ethic and the things that you do behind the scenes. So how much do you lean on these guys, and how much of it is, okay, I take a little bit from him, I take a little bit from these two, and has morphed into your own driving style with what you do?
Yeah, you know, it's definitely, you know, really cool growing up in this time. You know, where the generations are changing as well. So we still got some of these guys. I grew up watching these guys, and then me and Christopher are, you know, roughly new. So it's definitely cool. It's and another aspect, it's cool because I grew up kind of studying their data, so then I end up kind of knowing about that, more about how they drive and about their own personalities my whole life, and until now. So it's been cool. I've had a lot of great help from my teammates, and very blessed to be in a position I'm in and having a great time.
So you've been here for a long time and been within Joe Gibbs Racing. You've seen the ups and the downs, and I think for the years that I've seen everything go on, there seems to be somebody that has to be the leader of where the direction of the cars go. Do you need more rear downforce, front downforce? Is that you? Is that all of you? How would you explain the process of how you arrived with getting a car like you guys have? Because I feel like your car is really as superior as it's been in a long time with what you guys designed and developed. And so what's you're the one that's been here the longest. Yeah. What's the difference from where you were when you started, as far as Joe Gibbs Racing, to where you are now, to how you developed this car, and how that's led within the group and the organization from the driver standpoint? We all know that there's engineers and people that are smarter than us.
Well, I would say that I'm probably the most vocal in the drivers' meetings, but it's because of the experience. Martin is also, you know, we have seen different generations of different Camrys, and we've seen the positives and the negatives when we go down a certain direction. So I probably am the most vocal, and then we go to kind of Martin to say, do you feel the same way? Because we've been through so many generations of different cars that, you know, we're trying to send these guys in certain areas to work on. Now, they're kind of soaking things up. They haven't been around as long. Christopher's now starting to get to the point where he's driven now multiple generations of cars and knows when we went down this path, here's what's the positives. When we went down this path, here's been the negatives. And so I just try to kind of think of what I might think and see if they kind of agree with that, I would say.
Who's your driving style the most like of these three?
Man, I don't know. I think I'm on an island, sort of, with kind of how I use the pedals, but...
You mean that heartbeat?
Yeah, but I would say, you know, there's aspects that I would say that me and Martin on 1.5 miles are more similar, but really all of them. I mean, the great thing about having really fast teammates is that I'm not afraid to look at any of them. Information. That's what's fun about this, is that every week we're all fast, and there's some corners that one is faster than the other, and both are faster than me in this corner or that corner, and I can just pick apart which ones that I want to kind of take from. So it's really hard to compare nowadays unless you're driving the exact same thing as other drivers. And so I've got teammates that have their own individual, you know, skill levels and expertise in certain things that I like to pull from.
All right, don't give me a BS answer. What's been the hardest thing that you've had to learn coming from the Xfinity car to this new style Cup car?
Yeah, you know, I think the biggest thing is how everybody's a lot quicker. You know, the field's a lot tighter, as they said, and then just the experience level has been the biggest thing for me. You know, Xfinity, I can get in and of course, it's a lot easier to make mistakes and still run well. Here, it'll bite you. So that's been the biggest thing for me, and just gaining time at tracks and gaining more experience is really important.
So you go through Richmond, and obviously you guys, I mean, you had the dominant car. And I know that when I was, you have this dynamic of a team, and obviously you guys get along.
Yeah.
It's very apparent that you guys get along good enough to be decent humans to each other. I've been on teams where it was, hey, we're going to do a group interview with each other, and it'd be like, no, we're not. We're not going to do a group interview. So I think it was always interesting for me when you go through a situation like you guys went through at Richmond, and you know how fast your cars are, and you know the situation. You don't get these cars all the time, and I lived the frustration through you at Richmond. Tell the folks watching what it's like when you have to go back and say, probably not my best moment, and how you have to go about that, how you guys go about it when you guys get into that situation as a team to go back and say, okay, I need to set this right, that was wrong. What's the process like on, what day are your meetings? Mondays?
Mondays, yeah.
Tuesdays? Are you there all the time?
No.
No?
I mean, I'm there,
Are
but
you a
I'm not in
texter?
person.
Are you a texter or a phoner?
I'm generally a texter and
A texter.
and I call in.
Okay, so
Yeah.
how do you go about that with Denny on a Monday? When you know that, did you text him?
Yeah, he
Call him.
texted me first.
He texted you first.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I was like, I don't know what exactly I said. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, you know, basically we've been around each other long enough.
Yeah.
We've raced each other for so many wins and so many different things over the years. It's a respect level, right? Like,
Yeah.
no matter what happens on the racetrack, I get it. We're there to race. We're there to win. We're there to do the best for our team
Yeah.
in that moment. And then, you know, it comes down to respect it after the race. When you do something stupid, you got to swallow your pride and say, sorry, I'm an idiot.
Oh, it's terrible.
You know?
God, I hate it.
And it's one of the toughest things about this sport is the disappointments, learning how to deal with those, because there's so many. You know, I can think of 5 or 6 other times that same exact scenario happened at Richmond, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you keep your emotions in check? That's the hardest part of this sport. And, you know, I think Ty, as a young guy, is learning that it's so competitive, it's so difficult. And you're judged on how many races you win. When something happens that takes a win away from you that had nothing to do with you, that's super hard to deal with. But when you're talking to teammates, like with Denny, I have so much respect for Denny. I had so much respect for you guys you've raced with for years.
Yep.
We all lose our minds once in a while, right? And we understand that. And you just have to
Pop the top. I'm
it
as
is
guilty of it as anybody.
Yeah, for sure. So that was it was a simple thing, you know, just whatever. I'm an idiot.
And
sorry.
I knew how upset he was because I knew the history that this has happened to him 5 times. So I knew.
Yeah.
Like I was empathizing, and I said it after the race. I says the guy is 6 times has dominated this race and not won it for various reasons.
Were you
I
that's the maddest Martin's ever
understand why. I understand why he is going off the rails. I get it.
Ever moments, right?
Yeah. So you've been very, I would say, at another level for the last few years, but to me it seems like you don't get the credit that you deserve for the performance that you guys have had in your car. And it seems like there's always something over here that's happening that doesn't include Christopher Bell, and all of a sudden, bam, there you are. Why do you think that is? Because I view you as a consistent weekly contender, week in and week out, with the performance of your car and the things that you do as a race car driver. But it's not like you're out there trying to make headlines or anything along those lines of dealing with it. Is that a choice that you make?
I mean, I try to not be an idiot, but you know, it's interesting because you look at Martin's wins, right, and the races that you won. I think I saw an interview of or maybe it was a mean tweet deal where people hate on you because you win the races you dominate, right?
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, it hasn't happened for me yet. Out of the races that I've won, I haven't really led laps. I think Loudon and Phoenix were 2 races that I led the most laps, but even then I was, mid-pack the first half of the race in both of those scenarios. So I haven't gotten to the point yet to where we've put a whole race together where we qualify up front, we lead laps, win stages, have good pit stops and good restarts where I'm the guy up front. And it's good that we've been able to win races and be there at the end. But on the flip side, I think that's why I'm kind of this underdog, is because I'm not the guy that's leading all the laps like Martin did at Richmond, or just leading laps and controlling the race. We haven't been able to do that yet.
Hey race fans, thanks for watching our video. For all NASCAR on Fox News content and the best clips from Fox Sports, be sure to follow and subscribe to our channel.